What's going on, everybody? Thanks for being here. Just wanted to see if I could make some light of the situation at hand and share some thoughts about what's going on. You know how we do it out here. What's up, Big? What's up, Ryan Big Ray? How you doing? What's up, MNR Woodcraft? That's the homies behind this really awesome flag right here. Give them a shout. Check them out. Thanks for being here, everybody. Yo, the weight of the world, the weight of the world is heavy on the old bag of rice universe that we happen to find ourselves in. But I felt like I did a really cool live before, and I just felt like it was I was kind of on a little thought tear with some things. What's up, Biggs? And I just wanted to kind of chat about that and see if I could make some sense of just a literal garbage factory that we happen to find ourselves in right now, and maybe give a little bit of perspective and hopefully some points of view that would be helpful sharing with other people, and also just hang out with y'all. It's been a little bit, and just wanted to share a couple of things, and you know how it is. First of all, I want to give a shout out to Joan for joining on the Patreon. She's our first Bobby Sauce level person on Patreon. If you haven't checked it out, it's patreon.com/takenaps. I want to give a shout out to them. I want to give a shout out to MNR Woodcraft for this awesome sign right here. And I want to thank all of you for sharing all of my videos and reels these past few weeks. This has been the fastest growth month of any month in the Bobby Sauce universe. So thanks for tickling my brain bag. You're clearly putting your grundle to great use, so it is much appreciated. I've been receiving some really cool gifts in the old mailbox, and that's been great. So thank you all so much for that. I very much appreciate it. So the thing that really tickled my bag today, which I just think is outrageous. Oh yeah, but I also wanted to remind you, I will be in New Jersey at the Attilis Gym Belmar this Saturday for the Veterans Outreach Workout. If you are in the New Jersey area, make sure that you check it out. You can go and follow at Ian Smith Fitness. I'm here on the gram. I'm sure most of you already do that. But I will be there in New Jersey, Belmar, New Jersey, this Saturday for the Veterans Outreach Workshop. Outreach Workout. If you can't be there, go to the Attilis Gym's website, give them a giggle, buy a ticket, show support. All of it goes to charity, goes to the veterans. It's a good thing. It's a great thing. It's grand. It's wonderful. I'll be there picking things up, putting them down, tickling bags, hugging babies. You know how it is. That's how it goes out here. So listen, what I wanted to talk about was this freaking insane story that I made a reel about earlier. And it's like, to me, it's the most insane thing imaginable. And it's like, this story that happened in Australia, and I even saw a video just a little while ago of somebody of the police or the authorities in some country basically barging into some person's house and forcing them to get the juice. And it's like, people don't understand the slippery slope and the severity that is once you give these powers, these unadulterated, unrestricted, and unlimited powers to some centralized force, the likelihood that you'll ever get your freedom back is basically zero. Anything that you allow the government to take away from you, they never will give back. That's just the nature of government. That's how it goes. That's how centralized structures remain in power in perpetuity forever. The misconception, as everybody is emotionally manipulated around the entire world, is they fail to realize that just because their guy or gal or Z or Zay or their or them are in power at any particular moment, that by granting those freedoms to that person, you don't understand how those things are going to ultimately come back and bite you later. So it's a very slippery and tragic slope. And as people protest around the world, it seems that luckily in some other countries like France, it seems like they're actually making a difference, and the authorities are actually starting to respond to them. So kind of what I wanted to talk about, and what I titled this video, this live stream on Instagram and YouTube, is I titled it, "Don't Underestimate Your Power." So I just hope that everybody understands that the individual power of a person and their individual voice in their small social circles is truly the only thing that's ever changed the world, right? It's like, it all starts with a thought. A thought leads to a conversation amongst friends, amongst family members, amongst people that love each other leads to more conversations. We don't understand the true nature, the power, depth, and extent, the macro impact of our individual thoughts and words. If we spend the time that would otherwise be spent watching Netflix or watching a movie or doing something that's inconsequential to probably what needs to be done, not only in your life, but in the world, however you want to phrase it. If we spend our mental energy thinking about and acting on things that don't really move the needle, the world and our life and all of the things that exist in our orbit kind of fall to the wayside. So my message is for us to be more cognizant of what we think about, to be more cognizant of what we spend our mental energy consuming, filtering, ingesting, and then distributing ourselves. Because the message, the ability for us to change the world in our own actions begins first at a thought, then at what we say, in the small individual conversations that we have with the people around us, with our family members, with our friends, and in small conversations here on social media platforms like this. So the idea that I had over the weekend, which I think was quite genius, is if you are on Twitter or if you're on YouTube or whatever else, if you're writing blog posts, I would highly encourage every person to use their voice, even if you get 10 views on your video or 10 views on your tweets or whatever, to use your voice to distribute the message as far and wide as possible. And the way that one would do that is, like, if you're going to write a tweet, record yourself writing the tweet or record yourself reading what you wrote in the tweet. Record it, make it an Instagram reel. Take that reel, that 15-second video, post it on Facebook on your Facebook page, 15 seconds. Post it on YouTube Shorts, and then post it on TikTok. If you use other platforms like Rumble or Parler or Gab or Telegram or whatever, repurpose the same piece of content in every platform that you got and distribute the message as far and wide as you possibly can. That's the type of thing that's going to make all the difference. And of course, obviously do all the things that you would have normally done. Go out and march, go out and protest, call your Congress people, go to your school board, change the behaviors that you have financially, change the businesses that you go to, change the businesses that you support, change the conversations you have with the people around you and the people that you love. And ultimately, I think that's the solution to all this, and that's how we get out of it. Because what's so tragic about all this stuff is what's happening with the individual, is the tremendous amount of needless human suffering that's happening at the hands of other human beings that have been temporarily and falsely administered unchecked power that allows them to create suffering for a lot of other people. And I said this on this last podcast this last live stream that I was just on a few minutes ago, but it was something along the lines of the following. It's like, it's one thing for really sad things to happen. You get struck by lightning, you get in a car accident, some act of God, there's some type of situation that happens, you get caught in a flood, whatever else. And these things are obviously tragic. There's going to be up and downs that happen in life. But to think that other human beings, ones that have been authorized and or in theory given the ability and the power to change how people live, can then inflict undue and unnecessary human suffering on people with absolutely no explanation as to how or why, is tragic. And I think that if we could have a little bit of EQ on how the people of Earth are feeling right now, in addition to all of this other stuff that's going on, I think that we would realize that the human suffering that's happening and the collateral damage that happens as a result of all these unnecessary lockdowns, rules, restrictions, and penalties is far greater than any corona clap and any unmeasured or any falsely measured ridiculous disease. And the thing that is so mind-boggling and puzzling to me is how, despite all this, how you can understand that in countries like Sydney, Australia, a fully juiced mother can't go see her daughter who has an advanced form of breast cancer in the hospital. They won't even permit her to go see her, in theory, dying daughter because of the corona clap. She's tested negative 5 or 6 times in the last 4 weeks. She is fully juiced, and she's willing to pay to quarantine herself in a hotel room for 2 weeks leading up to this, and they still said no. And it's just like, what authority have we supposedly bequeathed upon these psycho tyrants to allow them to create this undue human suffering, not only to the woman that's dealing with chemotherapy, that's sitting in the hospital and can't see her mother, but the mother that has to sit there in excruciating pain as she knows that her daughter is right there and she can't go see her because of some bureaucratic psychopath, some heartless savage that doesn't understand this human suffering that comes as a result of all this. So the point is that more people are dying than they are calculating. There's more human suffering happening than they are calculating. First of all, the cases are not a measurement that anyone should pay attention to or care about. What matters is hospitalizations, and really the only thing that matters is deaths. When you look at the true number, there's people out there that have gotten the corona clap that didn't even realize they got it. There's people out there that are 102 years old that survived it twice. It's like these people are savage, and the degree in which they're willing to inflict unnecessary human suffering on people is remarkable. You got people dying of overdoses, of missed cancer screenings, of missed tuberculosis screenings, of unnecessary avoidance of different medical procedures. If you're an 80-year-old man that has Alzheimer's and you go into the doctor's office and you literally have Alzheimer's and your family member or your daughter or your daughter-in-law or your son or whatever can't sit in that doctor and understand what the doctor is saying to you, you don't even know what's happening. A pregnant mother that can't sit in a doctor's office with one person, her husband or whatever, boyfriend or girlfriend, whatever, a person that they live with every day. You can't sit there pregnant in a doctor's office with one person, with a diaper, in a cube, in a plexiglass, in a hazmat suit. That you can't do that. But you can go to Lollapalooza. Barry O can have 700 people at his birthday party. There's 200 staff there, all these celebrities there, and these people are sick in the head. I saw a side-by-side tweet today. I saw a tweet today that showed John Legend tweeting on August 2nd, which was 7 days ago, that if you go to a large-scale gathering, a party, or a group event without wearing a diaper, or if you just attend a group event, that you're basically asking to get the corona clap. And 7 days later, this literally psycho, savage, sad person. I feel bad for John Legend. I hope that he finds himself. I hope he finds himself in the kingdom of God, because this guy's troubled. But this dude is going to go and be at this event after he's tweeting this out to millions of followers that you're basically asking it the corona clap. These people are shoving it in our face. And the fact that they've been able to emotionally manipulate the vast majority of people that live on earth to convince them that your neighbor is the enemy, that the person that lives next door to you, because they won't get the juice or they don't want to put a cloth diaper that we know does absolutely nothing to prevent the transmission to or fro of this garbage lie. The fact that they would demonize us against each other to where we're fighting each other in the store, fighting with family members, aren't allowed to see family members reporting other family members restricting themselves from seeing other members of their family. They've emotionally manipulated us to such a degree that like, we are now vulnerable to any and all things, because basically what this does is it tees us up and makes us extremely vulnerable. Nobody's got our blind side. Nobody's got our back, because in the event that there is some catastrophic event, in the event that there's another huge event, like some type of attack or some other type of disease or some other type of issue, these powers that they are beta testing on the vast majority of people in the world can be used and weaponized against us like this, while everybody is distracted with the sadness and the tragedy and the frustration and the horrible nature of whatever it is to come, because bad things happen. That's just the nature of life. It's the yin and yang of reality. Is that when that happens, they're going to come quick for your freedom, and they're going to be able to grab it like this. Because when they've been able to emotionally manipulate us, when the sun is out and there's not a cloud in the sky, can you imagine how much they're going to be able to manipulate us when it's cloudy out, when it's raining, when there's a hurricane, when there's some type of disaster or some type of tragedy? Now, obviously, we all hope that there's no huge event coming, but could you imagine? Imagine if there was an event like a hurricane. Okay, so it's about to be hurricane season in Florida. The southeastern part of the United States deals with hurricanes every year. Well, Could you imagine if it was like, we're not going to save you from the hurricane unless you got the juice? If you do get saved from the hurricane, the requirement is that you go get the juice. You got to wear a diaper. You have to go and stay out on the street. There's any number of different ways that they could manipulate people into doing things that are against their best interest or taking their freedoms and rights away under the guise of some other tragic event, under the guise of some other thing where you shouldn't pay attention to this. It's the right thing to do. And this has happened many times in the past, the most obvious example of which is the Patriot Act. The Patriot Act was passed after 9/11 and basically gave the government, the federal government, the ability to carte blanche surveil any human person that's in the United States or otherwise. Any American citizen can be surveilled without a warrant at any time if they're just simply suspected of being some type of agitator, of being some type of tyrant. They can just say this person's a T. We have to surveil them. It's for the good of the people. It's patriotic. It's the Patriot Act. So the point is that this situation, what they're teeing up right now, is beyond detrimental to not only humanity right now, but the power that they're going to keep in the future. As a result of this, it's just like, can you imagine the ability that they're going to have to pass this type of stuff in the event that there was some type of tragic event, in the event that there was some type of attack, in the event that there was some issue where people weren't paying attention because the humanness of life made them pay attention to something else? That's when they would snipe it right through. So it's like right now, while the skies are clear and we have the wherewithal to pay attention, talk about it, fight back against it, speak out about it, and share the message. It's like, this may be the last unique moment of time in the entire world to promote, push, endorse, and distribute the purpose and cause of liberty and freedom around the world. Because what I feel like most people fail to understand as they sit inside their bubble is that America is the freest and most prosperous nation that human beings of Earth have ever seen. The freest that any human beings have ever been in the history of time is in the United States of America. And the United States of America single-handedly has done more to create and push and endorse the cause of freedom, individual liberty, individual rights, and personal responsibility around the world more than any other nation that's ever existed in the history of time. So if the last bastion of hope, if the last freest nation that ever was, doesn't have the ability to make medical decisions for themselves, to make movement decisions for themselves, where they go, who they talk to, who they interact with, what job they have, what decisions they make for their own family, what decisions they make for their children, then all is lost. That's it. That's the last piece. It's the last piece of the puzzle to complete and total control forever. With the technology that we have today, if you want to, like, the vast majority of people don't know how to use a map. They don't even own a map. Most people don't know if they had no cell phone and no flashlight and no compass, the vast majority of people wouldn't know how to find the nearest hospital on foot. Would you be able to navigate to the nearest hospital on foot? Maybe. But I would bet that if that hospital was closed and you had to go to the next hospital, you might not be able to find it. If you needed some type of service, if you needed water, food, whatever, there's a lot of different things that we don't have without the existence of technology. If you have a gas-powered car and you don't have gas sitting, well, you can't. It's going to be pretty difficult for you to store electricity. If you have an electric car and there's no power, you're beat. You got 100 and however many miles, and that's it. It's like, at least with gasoline, you could store some gasoline. You could store some oil. But now if your car is connected to the internet and they could just turn it off, you're in big trouble. So the point is that the ability for them to clamp down on any defector, on any person that didn't fall in line with the rules, you would have no internet, no connectivity, no cell phone, no car, no ability to move, no credit card. What do you got? I mean, unless you got cash, and it's very plausible that we're leading towards a relatively cashless society. So it's like, if you are there, and then you got a wall at the border, you got the inability to move out on water, it's like you're literally trapped. So it's like it could get to a point where they say, You need a juice passport in order for you to go to the grocery store, right? Well, what they could just come and say, well, you need a juice, you need to get the juice, or your children are not safe with you. It's not safe enough for you to go to the grocery store. Now it's not safe enough for your children to live with you. If you refuse to get the juice, we'll take your kids away. I mean, if you think that that's not that far out of the realm of possibility, you're kidding yourself. So it's just like, if the state can take your children away from you for endangering them, we're in big trouble. So it's like, as everyone's like, yeah, and like the thing that's so sad, and I don't even want to call them stupid. I just want to call them emotionally manipulated to a point where they don't even understand that they're being manipulated. There are people out there that are mad at their neighbors, mad at fellow human beings, the supposed virtuous and woke people of the world that are mad that you're not following the science, and they're getting mad at their neighbors, their friends, people that they know, like, and trust. They're getting mad at those people for not wearing a diaper over their face, and for not getting the juice. And the reason that they feel that way is because the social EQ is distributed and served to them by mainstream media news sources. And these mainstream media news sources are the vast majority of people's only input of information and their only input of perspective of the world. So the only other perspective they have is that of inside their social circle. So the mainstream media says anybody that doesn't get the juice and doesn't wear a diaper is a bad, evil, stupid, Trump-loving garbaggio. Thank you, Aaron, for the Venmo. Very generous. I appreciate you. Thank you for that. These people are sick. So they get you to demonize your neighbors. They get you to hate the people that you know, like, and trust, hate your own family members because they control the narrative. So they pump the information of how you should treat other people through the mainstream news. And then when you go out in your social circles, at the restaurant, at the bar, at the park, at the zoo, at the school, and other people are like, you're bad, you're evil. They repropagate those messages back through. So they're able to convince people that these people are evil and these people are not. And what they don't even understand is that they're setting a trap for themselves that will ultimately lead to you get the juice or you're out. You get the juice or you can't go buy food. You get the juice or you can't participate in society. You get the juice or you're not permitted to do X. Your children aren't safe with you. The state is a better caregiver than you are. You lose your kids. You lose your ability to operate. You lose your ability to move freely about the world. You lose your ability to fly, your ability to travel internationally. You can't get back in. There's any variety of ways that they can restrict your freedom till you become a prisoner. And they know how to emotionally manipulate you right now, so that even in the event that they were to do it by decree, even in the event that they were to clamp down and totally screw everybody in perpetuity forever, what they're doing now is beta testing whether or not they could convince people to do it by emotionally manipulating them through information sources and through other people, through the zeitgeist of society. So all these people are so emotionally manipulated that they can't even see the trap that they're in. They don't even understand the severity of the relationship that they're in. And as a man that has not been in any abusive relationships, thankfully, sometimes I'll watch TV or hear friends talk about how they're in some emotionally manipulative relationship with some guy. Well, I loved him. Well, it was this. Well, it was our father of our kids. It was this. And there's always some excuse. And a lot of people have a difficult time getting out of these emotionally manipulative relationships. They even have a tough time getting out of physically abusive relationships. Your husband, your boyfriend, your significant other beats you up, comes home drunk and punches you closed fists in the face. A grown man punches a woman in the face, and women will stay in those relationships. Men will stay in those relationships as well, because the emotional manipulation is so strong that they have a tough time escaping it. So what I'm trying to say is that if you can imagine that you have a person that's in an emotionally manipulative relationship, and this happens all the time, all around the world, to the point where they're physically hurting you, physically even hurting your children in front of you, and they'll still stay. Can you imagine the emotional manipulation that has to happen in order for that to happen? It happens all around the world every day. So now imagine if every single person in that person's social circle was to say to them, you got to leave. It's bad. You got to go. Even then, they still stick around. The other person emotionally manipulates them to ostracize those people, to only stay in the bubble that they can control. Well, now imagine that everybody in America and across the entire world, all the people that are susceptible to that manipulation, they're all stuck in it. They can't figure out how to get out of it. The only people that are telling them that it's bad are the people that really care about them the most. But on TV, in movies, in audio, in blog posts, in podcasts, and every news article in the world, they tell you this is an okay thing. This is how it's supposed to be. They're the ones that are wrong. The emotional manipulation is so deep and so thick that I can't see how you could ever get out of it, to the point where you beg them to take your freedom away. If you could sit there and watch a person that you're in a relationship that you supposedly love, that you supposedly know, like, and trust, if you could watch them physically beat you up and beat up your children and you'd still stay, how could you think that any person would have the capacity to get out of this emotionally manipulative relationship when John Legend tells you it's good, when Chrissy Teigen tells you it's good, when Beyonce tells you it's good, when every single celebrity you ever heard of in your life tells you it's good, when Joe says it's good, when CNN tells you it's good, when Jake Tapper, the king of truth, is in Vanity Fair, the king of truth, and Don Lime and Chris Cuomo and all these virtue signaling, psychotic, emotionally manipulative, sad people are saying that this is right. How are you going to get out of that? How could you possibly get out? The reality is that you may not be able to get out. And the problem is that so many people are trapped in this at such a macro scale that the ability for you to manipulate large quantities of people at a very instant is more positioned right now, maybe more than any time in human history. The ability for you to distribute a very poignant and direct, emotionally manipulative message that can control large quantities of people at a faster clip than has ever happened in the history of human existence is right now. Right now. You could convince hundreds of millions, billions of people to put a cloth diaper over their breathing holes, to demonize their neighbors, to demonize their family members, to take a juice against their will by restricting their ability to move overnight. You could convince them to do that overnight. Imagine if there was some other larger scale issue, if there was some other larger scale threat. Can you imagine the gaslighting, the manipulation that would go down instantly? We are vulnerable. We are a baby lamb in the middle of a field full of lions. And it's like, just because we're not torn to shreds right now, doesn't mean that we won't be. And it's like, as we allow the people around us to stay in this emotionally manipulated state, we are extremely vulnerable to attack at any moment. And it will happen so quick and so fast and to such a degree that there will be no turning back from it. It's like, that's the dire nature of the moment. And it is so tragic. And it's just like, you got people out here that are screaming to high heavens about cases and stuff when they don't even understand that Florida behind only Maine has the highest percentage population of elderly people in the entire United States. The highest percentage of elderly people. Yet Florida ranks number 26, not even in the top 50% of states in America for deaths per million population from this stuff. Not even in the top half, the lower half, position number 26 for deaths per million population. Yet they're going to blame the last guy with a spine. They're going to blame the best governor in America. They're going to gaslight you to believing that Ron DeSantis is somehow on the other side of this, on the wrong side of history. He's the bad guy. The gaslighting and emotional manipulation that's happening is so prevalent, it's insane. And because of this, because people don't take the time to read information, do the research, pay attention, and talk to each other in seemingly uninfluential situations because they don't want to rock the boat, as a result of that, we're all exposed. And it's just like, we don't even understand the power. We underestimate the power and ability to distribute the truth on a macro scale that we have inside ourselves. We grossly underestimate our own power because it's like, well, I only have 2 followers. Well, your follower, like I made this example on this podcast I was on earlier. If you made a post, if you made an Instagram reel, for example, that was so good in 15 seconds that it just hit, and you sent it to somebody like me and I liked it and I shared it, 5,000 people watch my story every day. 5,000 people see your reel. That reel gets distributed. Those 5,000 people, each of them knows 5 people. Just right there, that's 25,000 people. I have a number of different followers that follow just me that have over 1 million followers, 1 million followers, 2 million followers. I even have one that has 4.5 million followers. If that 4.5 million follower person was to just share just that reel, your thought that you took 15 seconds to record could hit tens of millions of people in 60 minutes. 60 minutes. Yet we grossly underestimate the power and capacity of our own voice. We grossly underestimate what we're capable of if we just think about what we're about to say it direct and poignantly, and then post it and distribute it. And you have these platforms that they're sitting right there, and people are still like, oh, I can't, I don't know. Poor little me. I don't want to do it. I'm afraid or whatever. And it's like, yo, if you have the capacity, if you have the mental capacity, if you have the IQ, if you have the emotional understanding, if you have the capacity to understand this, to even find yourself watching this right now, instead of watching Orange is the New Black or watching Dancing with the Stars or watching Netflix or doing some other pointless activity that doesn't do anything quality, that doesn't lift you up to some greater cause. The fact that you even brought yourself here means that you have the capacity to not only understand and digest this information, but you also equally have the capacity to distribute it, because you found yourself here. You don't need to be doing this, but for some reason you're here, because it certainly is not just for entertainment. This live stream, for example, probably not entertaining at all. Not a joke, not a laugh, not a single one the whole time. Yet you remain here. Yet you may watch this later. Maybe you're going to watch this tomorrow. How did you find yourself here? Because you understand that there's something. There certainly is not nothing. You're frustrated. You're upset with it. You wish that there was something you could do. You feel like you get it. You see the forest through the trees. You understand what's happening. And you're like, man, instead of watching Netflix, I'm about to watch this right now. So you made it here, which means you have the capacity to understand, which also means you have the capacity to distribute. And without people like you, we have nothing. That's all I'm saying. It's like, because it's like the numbers don't lie. And the people have to, and I wish more people would understand how difficult it is to be on the wrong side or the other side of the general disposition of the vast majority of people in the world, not even in America, in the world. Imagine how difficult it has to be, how much of a mountain somebody needs to climb to convince themselves that this is actually right. I'm willing to go against every mainstream person, every celebrity, every news pundit, every social media person that I know, with the exception of a few, my friends, my family, my pastor, the person in my community. I'm willing to go against all of them to say, this isn't right, and this is probably bad. Can you imagine the level of convincing? Can you imagine the level of education and personal research that one would have to do to be on the opposite side of the general disposition of what appears to be the majority of people on earth? It's like the amount of time and effort you would have to go on the other side of that position and be like, nope, you can't get me now. You can't lie to me like this anymore. That takes a lot of work. Yet, conversely, to be on the other side, to be on the just get the juice, just fall in line, just obey, just wear the diaper, put the diaper on your kid, get the juice, I don't care, to put the blinders up to everything else is the easiest position you could ever hold. It is so simple. Oh, get the juice. You don't even have to think about it. You heard one person say it, say it. She's a witch. She's a witch. Get her. She's a witch. Everybody says, everybody agrees. Super easy. You're weak. Okay? That's the thing. The other side is the easiest hide to hold. It is the easiest position to have. Listen to the government. Listen to the overlords. Listen to John Legend. Listen to Obama. He knows better than you do. He knows better than someone in my family. I'm not even going to take the time to research, to prove to myself that I'm right. I'm just going to believe it because it's an easier position to hold. I have anxiety. I'm afraid. I don't know. I don't have the time. I don't want to do the research, blah, 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 whatever. And meanwhile, as you're not paying attention, as you're not talking about it, as you're not caring, military members getting forced to have the juice. People, you have nurses, firemen, police officers that went the entire clam dem not having the juice. Frontline heroes, our heroes. Everybody clap your hands outside for the heroes. Toot your horn as you go by. 2 horns, 2 toots for the heroes. Everybody loves the heroes. And then all of a sudden, those people that braved all that sat at the front lines of it, all year, didn't get paid more money to stay at home and do absolutely nothing like the vast majority of people. All those people, now you're going to force them to get the juice. Our heroes, force your heroes to get the juice after they just made it 18 months without it. Now you're going to force it on them. You're going to force a medical decision that they don't want to have. And then if you dare even hold a position, that how could that be right? You go and you watch CNN, and you watch these psychotic people, these low IQ savages, these people of the darkness say to each other, I can't even imagine how a nurse or how a doctor would think that they could work in medical care and not get the juice. How it's disgusting of them. It's like the gaslighting is so heavy. And 5 minutes ago, they were our heroes. And now you're fired. Your livelihood, your ability to make money. Screw you. You're evil. You hate people. After you've been the most heroic person all year, you didn't get a raise. You probably didn't get paid overtime. You didn't get nothing. All you got is a BS parade and a bunch of fake praise until it was too late. And then get the juice or you're fired. Get the juice or you don't deserve to provide for your family anymore. Get the juice or we hate you. How disgusting. You must not be as intelligent as I thought you were. The leader of the free world has the audacity to say that. If you don't get the juice, you must not be as intelligent as I thought. So you're gonna have Joey Basement, who can barely formulate a sentence, this literal clown shoe, this guy who's shoving 2 scoops of Choco chip into his throat hole that could barely understand what place he lives in. You're gonna listen to Joey Basement tell you that you're not intelligent because you don't want to take the juice? How insane is that? This guy's not living on Earth. This guy's not currently residing on planet Earth. And you're going to let that guy tell you that you're stupid? Give me a break. And then you're going to let these people on CNN show photos, and you're going to see photos of Obama with 600 people at his house. 600 people at his house. And you're going to listen to these pundits on CNN be like, these are elite people. These are intellectuals. They have all gotten the juice. They're intellectuals. Intellectuals? They are stuffing it in our face. And the people that are out there that are bending the knee and bowing down to this, they must be masochists. They must be a glutton for punishment because they are making it so obvious that they don't care about you that it is remarkable. Yet people are out there yelling at another person on TikTok comments and wasting their precious time on earth to troll people on TikTok and troll people on Instagram to say, I hope you die of the Delta variant, which is a DM that I've gotten from this guy recently. I hope you and yours get the Delta and you die. And it's like, bro, you are emotionally manipulated. You're a sad person. I hope you find a greater understanding of what it means to be alive on Earth right now, because you're a sad person. You're sad. You're hurting on the inside. You're emotionally manipulated. And it's just like, all right. And people still with their time will spend their time doing that as these elitists, as these people, as Barry O sits in a $10-12 million house that he somehow afforded by having a salary of $200K a year. He's got a $12 million house. Global warming. You gotta let John Kerry. Why the long face, John? Why the long face, John Kerry? You got to listen to John Kerry gaslight the entire planet about global warming while this dude flies his private jet to Barry O's house, burns more fuel than the next 100 plane rides together, that all the next 100 people combined. And you got to listen to John Kerry. Why the long face, John? Why the long face, John? Go to an oceanfront house. Why there's this scary sea level rise? There's scary sea level rise. The sea level's rising. It's scary and it's sea level. It's scary sea level rise. It's scary. Everybody needs to watch out because the sea level's about to rise. It's so scary. Why, John Kerry? Why the long face, John? Why the long face, John? Why the long face? Cheer up, John. Cheer up. It's going to be fine. John Kerry. John, your face is long. Quite possibly my favorite assessment of John Kerry's face. Ben Shapiro said John Kerry's face looks like a mudslide in the Hollywood Hills. You got him, Ben. You got him. That was a good. Yeah, why the long face, John? John, private plane. I'm better than you. I have catch-up money. My wife's family members have done something. My wife's father has made ketchup. John, I hope you cry at night. You're a garbage merchant. Oh. Oh, oh, okay. All right. Okay. So it's like these are sophisticated people. Barry O is sophisticated. It's like the gaslighting is so heavy. So this is the thing. I'm just chalking it up to like large scale macro emotional manipulation. And just like the vast majority of people are completely unaware. And it's just extremely sad. And yet those people are out here just yelling and virtue signaling about all this stuff. I have this friend that I follow online that is the most victim of all victims, and posts all this stuff like how stupid, freedom, FREEDUMB, freedom. All these people want their freedom. Yet this exact same person has complained for the better part of the decade. Why is my business not growing? Why don't I make more money? It's because I'm a creative and people love creatives and it's so hard to be a creative. No, people just don't like what you're creating, dog. You're a victim of yourself. Maybe you should work harder. Maybe you should work differently. Maybe people just don't like what you create. Maybe your stuff sucks. Have you ever considered that? Maybe your stuff sucks. The market is the market. Oh, it's because I'm this. It's because I'm that. I'm a girl. I have this. I have all this. I have a chip on my shoulder. I have a Lay's baked chip on my shoulder. I can't get ahead. Nah, dog, you've been doing the same thing for 10 years and your product blows. No one likes it. It sucks. You're complaining because your stuff sucks. It sucks. It's terrible. Yet this person's out here being like, you're dumb if you don't get the juice. Dog, you wouldn't know dumb if it hit you in the face. It's like, fam, who hurt you, dog? Like, who hurt you? Show me on the doll where they touched you. It's sad. It's sad. And there's people like this all about the cabin, all about. They're brewing all about. They're stewing about. Oh, they're like, oh my God, share it. John Legend just tweeted, share it, guys. Freedom with a B. Ha. Yo, who hurt you, bro? Who hurt you? Oh, why is business so hard for creatives? Your product sucks. Okay, your product sucks. Your product is terrible. It's your fault. Here's a news flash. Just in case anybody was curious. It's your fault. Okay. But why? Work harder. I don't know, dude. Work harder. I don't know. Like, people don't like you. They don't like when you complain, bro. Like, why the long face? Like, John. Everybody is John Kerry, okay? Okay. My wife's father made good ketchup. John. It's like, bro, you've done nothing in your life. You're terrible at your job. John Kerry, why the long face? You're a garbage merchant. I'm a failed politician, but my wife's dad made ketchup. Ketchup, John Kerry. Why the long face, John? Where's the mudslide? I need to watch out. Let me find some rescue. Where's the mudslide? John, it's on your face. Oh, here we go. Hate speech, watch out, it's hate speech. He said, why the long face? Because his face is long. John, I saw a horse with a less long face. Here we go. Jokes on the stream now. Here we go now. John, here we go. Somebody say ketchup. Did somebody say ketchup? Did somebody say ketchup? It's like, maybe I prefer hunts, okay? Okay? I need to fly my private plane. And then he got caught. This long-faced loser got caught on a plane with his diaper. My diaper was only on, but I was reading the paper. Sure it was, John. No one believes you. You're a merchant of hot garbage. You're selling garbage at the corner store, and we hate you. John Kerry hate speech. My wife's father made ketchup. Oh, the best ketchup in the world. Okay. He's like, congrats, Barack. Congrats. Can you believe all those idiots are out there? And you better believe that Barry O is going to be on TV tomorrow. Like, oh, you. And then they have the audacity to be like, they have that literal weeble. Dr. Fauci, Dr. Garbage being like, the Sturgis motorcycle rally. Oh my God. Oh, this is going to be a super sprinter event. They said that last year. And all those bikers were like, cool. Boogie gat. And they just were like, I'm about to pull up. It's like, cool. And they're fine. Yet you could have a bunch of clown sneakers. You could have a Lori Lightfoot, 4 foot of Lori Lightfoot wearing a looking like she's a angsty teen wearing a fedora being like, yeah. It's like, oh my God. Who, how are you even a human of Earth? Like, the aliens are here. It's LL, but whatever. It's like, cool. She's there. She's just hanging out with all these celebs. It's like, yo, LL. No one likes you. Like, literally no one likes you. These celebrities don't like you. Okay? And as they're like, I'm going to get a picture. I'm going to get this picture with Dave Chappelle. And it's like, yo, it's like, no, Dave Chappelle doesn't like you. He doesn't care about you. I'm not going to speak for Dave Chappelle, but I'm just saying, it's just like, do you think that Dave Chappelle's backstage and he's like, oh man, I need to get a picture with the mayor of Washington, D.C. for this term? It's like, no, he's fine without that. Look. It's like, how are you backstage? No one likes you. You're a corporate flunky, or you wouldn't have this job, dog. You're terrible at your job. You're terrible at it. Look, it's me with a celebrity. Yo, LL, no one likes you. Literally no one likes you. They're just scratching your back and patting you on the shoulder and bending down to tap you on the fedora because they don't want you to shut their stuff down because they know that you wield an unnecessarily large amount of power right now. While people are getting shot in the street in your city, and you're like, Lollapalooza, next up is some stupid band. Look, it's on my shirt. Look, it's like, cool, LL, no one likes you. I don't even know the band that was on her shirt. Don't quote me, don't at me, they're actually pretty good. It's like, you're missing the point. Don't care. My wife's dad made ketchup. It's like, okay. So it's just like, these people are gaslighting us. They're emotionally manipulated. All they care about is money. Everybody's sad. The world is garbage. Everything's on fire. And here we are just like, can my child take their diaper off when they're outside exercising at school? And they're like, no, but Barry O and Big Mike can take it off when Bruce Springsteen comes into town. Don't worry, Bruce Springsteen's just gonna hammer 3/4 of a bottle of brandy and then drive home. And he'll probably get a DUI and they'll probably just dismiss it because it's Barry O. Cool. I saw today it said a couple of DUIs were recorded out there, but they just let them fly. Cool. These people are sophisticated. They're smarter than us. They're better than us. It's like, cool. Aren't you worried about that sea level rise? Barry, did you get this on your $200,000 a year salary? Barry, is that what you got it on? And Big Mike's like, yeah, he did. And it's like, okay. But yeah, all right, great. Yeah, but let's listen to them. All right. It's so hard. It's really hard. You have a Lay's deep fried potato chip on your shoulder. If you were born, if your skin looks like you are up against the wall, it's like, dog, excuse me. Have you ever seen, I don't know, all the successful people? Like, what are you even talking about? You got Lebron, you got Oprah, you got all these, you got thousands upon thousands of examples of people that have defeated the supposed adversity and made huge amounts of money for themselves in all varieties of industry. Yet, you have a corn chip on your shoulder? I don't think so, Jack. Maybe, but probably not. Yet they're going to be like, oh, but Barry needs his birthday. Barry and Big Mike need his birthday. Barry wants to smoke some crack. Hunter and Barry are gonna go out front and do a little pop, have a little pop. And don't worry, someone's gonna buy a piece of Hunter's art for $7 million. It's fine. That's so fine. It's like, okay, cool. That's fine. That seems totally fine. That's above board. Let us not forget that the story of the decade is none other than Jeffrey Poopstain, and how the government and how the legal system, the justice system, gave this guy the pass as he did countless unspeakable acts to people and young people for the better part of 30 years. And all of that happened, documented, more than obvious, more than evident, more than enough truth out there. But put a diaper on your 8-year-old. Put a diaper on your 4-year-old. Sad. Truly. Very sad. But whatever. Can't say that. Hate speech. It's going to get taken off. Whatever. The world is trash. Meanwhile, they've somehow convinced and somehow figured out to make the people that do research and fight for America for no reason other than that's what they want to do. They make those people all out to be the bad guy. Hilarious. The emotional manipulation is on high gear, Jack. So whatever, but that seems fine. No big deal. Nothing to see here. I think that's probably just okay. A-okay, completely checks out. Yo, big thanks to Aaron for the generous Venmo. Thank you so much, Aaron. Big thank you to Thomas and Jillian for the Venmo donations. I very much appreciate that. Thank you to Aaron Ashley, Sean 87 Callahan, Jax KW, Dawn Maureen, the Panther Finder 76, Jillian Kelly 3, Where is Nicolette, Rachel Senger, Ryan Big Ray Fozzie, Tom Reeker, and Anessa Lothbrock for the badges on Instagram. Thank you guys so much for that. I very much appreciate it. So it's like, so again, it's like the stories of the day are so ridiculous and the manipulation is so heavy that it's like, if we can't, if this amount of things that they're taking from your everyday citizens hasn't set in by this point, it's like, I don't really know or understand what more they could possibly do to make it obvious. It's like, they're coming after the kids. They're forcing people to get the juice. They're forcing our frontline hero, all of our heroes. And then they're smacking you in the face with it, with Barry O and Big Mike and the gang and all these elitists. It's like, it's so obvious. So I just find it tragic. Anyways, I saw a couple questions come in. I'll answer a couple questions here on the Gramble. Or actually, I only see one question from Rob Lucero. It says, Cash is a super spreader. All right, then. Cool. Yep. Sure. That seems fine. No big deal. And the other thing that's so crazy is like, again, and I will repeat it another time. If everybody could just please understand that you are capable of writing 140 characters. You're capable of writing a tweet. You're capable of writing a status update on Facebook. You're capable of taking a photo and writing a caption. There's an iPhone and Android app called Word Swag, where you can make these cool tiles. You could use like a marble background or an American flag, and you could write with text. Any person could write with text a quote, something that they want to send, and you can make it into an image and put it up on Instagram. You could put it up on Facebook. Then you could take that video or take that thing, record a video of yourself saying it, put it up on TikTok, make an Instagram reel, and distribute it to hundreds of thousands of people. I've seen more than enough examples of people making 15-second reels that have 300 followers on Instagram, that those reels are getting 10,000 views, 20,000 views, hundreds of thousands of views. I only have 56, I think, thousand, or I'm coming up on 56,000 on Instagram. I have more than 5 or 6 reels over 100K views. I have one over 200K views. It's like these are getting distributed to vast quantities of people. So the ability for you to distribute your message is more prevalent now than at any time ever in human history. It's right there. It's right in front of you. So I just wish that more people would take advantage of this opportunity. M. Spanos 81 says, what do you think it's going to take to get these juice mandates thrown out and calm down being forced to take it? People speaking up and people walking out of their job, people refusing to go to certain places, refusing to do certain things. It's called word swag. But it's like, dude, if you have a thought and you want to do if you believe that you have some type of duty to distribute this message, make a 15-second reel after this message and post on Instagram and then post on TikTok. How can we simply convince people to just make one post? That post will make them realize how easy it was. I don't know. If I knew how to convince people to just make one post, I'd do it because I'm trying to do it actively. I'm showing people numbers. I'm showing the accounts growing. I believe that the power is in the hands of people more now than at any point ever. And it's like, could we all just do a little more? And it's like, that's not it. It's about the personal conversations. It's about the individual conversations that you have with the people that you care about. It's about having conversations with people that you love, family members, friends, in social situations, about you disrupting what would otherwise be a conversation maybe about nothing. And you maybe make it about what's going on right now. Be like, yo, you shouldn't wear that diaper. Or, hey, have you looked into the stats of that diaper? The easiest way to convince a person to do something, I think, is to ask leading questions that help them answer it for themselves, that help them create the idea themselves. If you ask them a question, why are you wearing that diaper? How much research have you had that proves that diaper is? Oh, so you got it from Fauci. Have you seen where Fauci said that you shouldn't wear a diaper? Have you seen all these other cases where 15,000 doctors signed something that said that these don't do anything? Have you read the Great Barrington? Have you? Did you look into this? I mean, leading questions are a great way to convince people to do something because they ultimately end up convincing themselves. You don't have to tell somebody what to do. You just have to help teach them how to think. If you can help people realize how to think, what they do will change as a result. You have to go to the root of the problem. How much research do you do? How much do you do thinking about this? Do you know that could hurt a person? Do you know that this could hurt your local economy? This could hurt your local business. Did you know that business supports X? Did you know that this business wants you to do Y? The reality of the matter is that there's more people that believe this than don't. They've just emotionally manipulated large quantities of people to believe that those people don't exist. One of my favorite signs, quotes, expressions, whatever, during the Donnie Baseball phenomenon was when they said the silent majority stands with Donnie Ballpark. And I was like, yo, or it would be like, we are the silent majority. And it's like, that is the truth. The vast majority of people don't pay attention, okay? 50% of the population up until this year doesn't even vote. They don't even care enough to even vote, to take 5 minutes to go vote. And I get it. I understand. But these are the same people that are helping propagate the message of lock it up, shut it down, give your freedom away, give the power to the government. You're dumb if you don't. So it's like these people are not very strong in their convictions. They're not very strong in their beliefs that they know what the truth is or that they know how it should be. They're just towing the line because they don't want to go against the grain of what the vast majority of people, aka the theoretical manufactured majority, they don't want to go against that. Therefore, they take the easier position. They take the position that no one's gonna second guess. People are tribal, and they don't want to be on the wrong side of the group. They don't want to be on the wrong side of the mass. They don't want to be on that side of the discussion. So they choose not to be. And I can't even imagine the amount of money that the companies that are manufacturing these tests are making, that Pfizer's, AstraZene's, what the frick is it called? Moderna, all these garbagios, J&J, these savages are making more money than they've ever made in history. And the people that are administering these tests for free, they're free. Meanwhile, they're printing our money. They're printing all the value away from the money, inflating the money supply at a degree never seen before. Tragic. Yet everybody's just cool with it. Everybody's all right with it. And just like that, the manipulation continues. Somebody said Moderna went up 17% today. But let's see. I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah, you're right. Moderna stock went up 17% today. Moderna has a market cap of $194.53 billion. So if it's up 17% in one day, let's just do a little bit of loose math. $194 billion. $194 billion times 0.17 is 32 billion dollars. Now that's the higher number, so let's assume it's a little bit lower. That means that Moderna stock went up today by over $25 billion in one day. You know how many employees work at Moderna? 1,800. 1,800 employees. Actually, no, correction. 1,300. 1,300 employees, which means that if you do that stock, $194 billion divided by 1,300 employees. That's $149 million of value per employee. $149 million of value per employee. $149 million. Okay. Now I'm going to put it into perspective for another company. The market cap of Ford Motor Company is $59 billion. So let's do $59 billion. $59 billion. Let's see how many employees they have. 186,000. $59 billion divided by 186,000 employees is 317K. So Ford Motor Company, a company that has existed since 1903, the value per employee is $317,000 since 1903. Yet a company that was created less than 10 years ago that IPO'd in 2018 is worth $135 million per employee versus $300,000 per employee. A Ford Motor Company. How many people have a Ford car? All right. Moderna stock went up more money in the last 2 weeks than the entire value of Ford Motor Company, a company that's existed since 1903. All right. Okay. Wait, how is the market cap? See, it's okay, because the revenue. I got it. Anyways, the point is that if we don't follow the money, we don't understand what's really going on. So, anyhow. Somebody said you don't need the juice to work at Moderna. I saw that you don't need the juice to work at the CDC either. I'm sure you don't need it. How many calls Pelosi had? So the last thing that I will say is that I certainly wish and hope that more people would stop underestimating the power that they have to distribute a very important message. And if they weren't going to do it even up till now, that now hopefully would be a time to do that, as people are literally being forced in other countries to stay in their homes, being locked up, having their livelihoods destroyed, not being able to see their children in the hospital as they die, see their parents in the hospital. It's like, how much human suffering do we need to allow to happen before somebody will say something? And look, saying something is just the start. If I can't convince you to say something to a friend or family member or say something online, I'm certainly not going to be able to convince you to do something more than that. If while you're taking a poop later, you don't post something about this, then it's like, I don't really know, because it's a shame that you would have the capacity to understand what is happening, see it happening in real time, know that it's wrong, know it's bad, and not even do the most basic effort to try to do something to help people change the way that they think about it. Because ultimately the war is won and lost here, not only in your individual life, but this game that they're playing is an emotional and mental game. They understand that by mentally and emotionally manipulating you, that's how they're going to get their agenda moving forward. So if I can't convince you to help change the hearts and minds of people, I'm never going to be able to convince you to do anything else. So I hope that you pass that message on. I hope that you try to do that. And I hope that the madness starts to end soon, because as more people wake up, they're coming for your freedom a whole lot faster and with a lot more velocity. So with that being said, I appreciate you guys very much. I was trying to make a video today and I was like, man, this is so heavy. I don't even know what to make it. So I figured I would come on here and chat. So thank you so much for your time. Please go and do something about it. Please make a reel. If you don't do anything, at the very least, share this video, share my account, share other creators that you like that are putting out things that you believe, are right, and help continue to promote the message of freedom, individual responsibility, and liberty. It is the only thing that will save the world. Freedom and liberty. Thank you guys so much on Facebook and Instagram and YouTube. I appreciate you. Again, a big thanks to Joan for joining the Patreon. Appreciate you, Joan. Thank you so much. Big thanks to Aaron, Thomas, Jillian for the Venmo donations. Appreciate you guys. And thanks again to Doey77, Aaron Ashley, Sean 87 Callahan, Jax KW, Don Marine, the Pathfinder 76, Jillian Kelly 3, Where's Nicolette, Rachel Singer, Ryan Big Ray Fozzie, Tom Reeker, and Anessa Lothbrook. Appreciate you guys for the badges on Instagram. Thank you so much. Please share this message. Tell other people about it. Fight for the cause of liberty. Fight for America. One love to you guys. Appreciate you. Do something. Make reels. Make TikToks. Do it now. Love you. Appreciate you.